Today we're going to talk about figuring forklift capacity. Now we use telehandlers, all-terrain forklifts with extendable booms, and when we use those, we use them on the basis of how much they are able to lift. So what is the capacity of this forklift? And it could be a 5,000 pound forklift, a 6,000 pound forklift, 9,000, 10,000, 12,000 pound. So that's the rating or the capacity of the forklift, but it's only the capacity of the forklift in a particular configuration. In order to figure out how much a forklift can lift, we have to figure it on the basis of the chart that the manufacturer provides. Now, the manufacturer provides this chart and they tell us that in a particular zone, say zone A or B or C, the forklift can lift this much. So if it's a 12,000 pound forklift, it may be able to lift 12,000 pounds, but that's only if the boom is pulled in as tightly as it can be and within a certain range. So for example, if you have a forklift, it happens to be a 12,000 pound forklift, as this one says that it is, it may be only able to lift 12,000 pounds in this particular configuration. If you lengthen that out, then it changes in the amount of capacity that it is able to lift. So that's the reason why your chart becomes important. Now, when you start to look at your chart, you have to realize that according to the ANSI standard, the center of gravity on your load is based on a 48-inch cube. That is 24 inches from the inside face of the forks and 24 inches up from the inside of the bottom of the forks. Let me make that a little clearer. This is what they're talking about. The inside of the fork out 24 inches, 24 inches up from the top of the fork as it extends horizontally. So that's what we're talking about. Now then, what happens? How do we figure the capacity of the forklift when this 24 inches changes? And it will. We, for example, have a boom that we can put on the forks. That boom slips over the forks there, is latched to the back of the headache, the headache rack. And now what used to be 24 inches has changed by 66 more inches. So now from the inside of this face of the fork out to the hook is 90 inches rather, 66 and 24 added together. So then, how do I figure what my forklift is able to lift based on this new center of gravity? Now remember that with the chart that you're using, you have to start with wherever that chart tells you you're going to be as far as the capacity of the forklift, depending on how much you've extended. So if you extend it out 10 feet, 20 feet, it makes a difference. So you can only start from where the forklift tells you you can be when you have extended the boom out. So then, how do I figure this correctly? Well, I started with 24 inches. Now then, I have ended up with a center of gravity that's moved out to 90 inches. So what I do is I take the 90 inches that I have and I divide the 24 by 90. So 24 dividing 24 divided by 90 is 0.26. Now then, if in the range of where I have the forks, if in the range is, say, for example, I started with a 12,000 pound forklift and I push it out 20 feet and maybe I'm down now to 6,000. I have to figure this change of center of gravity based on where it lands out where the chart tells me that what I have out where that chart tells me. So now I'm at 0.26 times, say, 6,000 pounds. That means that ultimately I end up then with a 1,600 pound capacity. So if the column that I'm trying to lift is 800 pounds, that's fine. If it's 1,200 pounds, that's fine. If it's 1,600 pounds, then I've reached the maximum capacity of what I can lift with that forklift and the boom extension in this configuration. So if I need more, I have to change the configuration. Maybe I have to pull the boom in to where I'm able to, say, lift 8,000 pounds. I still have to do the same math, but I have to do it according to the chart, what the chart tells me, which is where I can start, then ultimately end up multiplying the 0.26 times whatever it is, and then I end up with my final weight. And so that's how we figure the forklift capacity. We start with the chart. I extend it out to where I have, say, a 6,000 pound capacity. I've changed my center of gravity. I've divided 24 by 90. I've got 0.26. I then multiply 0.26 times 6,000. I end up with a 1,600 pound capacity. If my column's less than 1,600 pounds, then I have the ability to hang that column. And I hope that helps, and I hope that you find that easy to figure for you as you're using the forklift in the various configurations.